Alright, so we're going to finish this part off real quick. So without much time wasted, let's jump right in. So we're going to be creating the other parts that we have left, including the headlights. So we're going to create these pieces over here and create the main headlights as well. So let me get to the back view real quick. And first off, let me take this edge over here, press Shift and D, press P to separate the selection, and now we can start work with this edge. Now first off, let me delete this vertex. So we're going to use this vertex right here. Let me get to the back view, and I'm just going to shoot this back to about here. So we can do this just randomly. Once we're done, we can basically fit it with the surface that we needed to fit it with. So I'm going to pull this up. It's pretty high, so I'm going to pull it up to about there, and I'm going to extrude it again over here like so. Let me take it in this one, S and Z, type in 0, and I'm going to take this one finally and extrude it up in the Z axis to there. Alright, not bad. So what we can do now is to, okay, let me take both of this, press G and move this up to there, and let me take both of this, move it in the X axis to there. And now let me take the whole thing and just zoom into this area, take the whole thing, extrude it in the Y axis to there, and let's add in a solidify modifier. So I'm going to remove the sub D and add in a solidify modifier. Where is it? There we go. So I want to get to the back view, enable even thickness, so the thickness is even, just like that. And I'm just going to edit mode, take this piece right here, go over to the back again, press Ctrl B, and let's bevel that, add in, I'm not sure, I think 4 should be good. Yep. And I'm going to do the same thing here, take this, get to the back, press Ctrl B, we're going to bevel this like so. Let me just drop this down to 0.005. Yeah, I think that's pretty good, I'm sure. Alright, finally we're going to take this one now, get to the back view, press Ctrl B, bevel this. We're going to add in just 3. Yeah, so just 3 should be good. So we're going to add in just 3 over here like so. And that's the basic shape of the whole thing. So what we're going to do now is we're going to get to the back view, and we're just going to be aligning it with the main mesh. So I'm going to take the first one, press G and then X, and move it all the way to about here like this. I think the space in between them, yeah. So let me just take this from here all the way to here. Let me just press Ctrl Alt Shift S and then X. I didn't take the whole thing, so let's take the whole thing. Make sure one of them is the active element. Ctrl Alt Shift S and then X. I'm going to share this so it's in the same angle as the mesh we have on the right hand side, so like that. And I think that should be good. So I'm going to take the whole thing now, move it up in the Z axis to about there. Let me take this vertices here, pull it up as well to there, and that should be good. Yeah, okay. So what I'm going to do now is to pull it in some more, because I think it's further inside. So I'm just going to press G. It's longer is what I mean. It's much longer than the other two. So I'm just going to press G and move it to about somewhere there. Now let me just take the whole thing and pull it up in the Y axis to there. Let's get over to the top view. I'm just going to press Ctrl Alt Shift S and then Y, and then share this. Ctrl Alt Shift S and then Y, share it some more to about there. Okay. Now we have to share it in this angle as well. So let me get onto the side view. I'm going to go Ctrl Alt Shift S and then X, and then share it like so. Let's move it in the Y axis, to there. Okay, not bad. Let me move it some more to the inside. Alright, I'm going to make this the active element, and let's get over to the top view again. I'm going to press Ctrl Alt Shift S and then Y and pull this in like that. Okay, that's totally not bad. Yeah, not bad at all. Okay, so how far out do we want to pull this? It's actually far inside, so I'm going to pull it inside to about there. I think that should be good. Yeah, that should be good, I'm sure. So let's get to the back view now, and let me just go into edit mode real quick. Let me take this whole thing, press G twice and then C, slide it up so it goes into the mesh like that, and I think it came out great. Is that right? Yeah, I think so. Alright, now let me get to the back view, and let's take the whole thing, Shift and D this, and move it in the X axis to, I don't know, about there, and just press G and move this down to about there. And I'm going to take the whole thing. I think this, let me dissolve this edge. All right, dissolve that one and dissolve this. So this one isn't as rounded as the first one, so we're just going to press G twice and then C and pull it back to about there, like that. And I'm going to press, oh my god, I'm going to press Control B to bevel this like so, and let's move it in the x-axis to there, and that should be good. All right, very nice. So let me get to the back view, and that's pretty good. I think I want to make this one longer some more, so let me just take all of these and pull it in the x-axis to about there, and let me just pull it some more, maybe a little more. All right, now I'm going to take all of these, and I'm just going to press G and move this, looking at the one below. We're just going to move it all the way to there, and I think that should be good. All right, now let's take this, go over into edit mode, get to the back view again, and I think I'm going to take this one, press G and then Z, move it down right there, and okay, this one too has to move down, so G and then Z, just a tiny bit like that, and that's pretty good. So we can take the whole thing now, move it in the y-axis all the way to there. So we have to share this again, so let me just move it to somewhere there like that, and let me just make this, okay, I think we have to pull it out some more. Yeah, we have to pull it out some more, so G and then Y and move it out just so it is a little bit offsetted than the one behind it. So I'm going to make this the active element now, and let's go over to the top view, and I'm going to share this in the y-axis just so it pulls back some more, so like so. That's too much. Let me try that again. So Control Alt Shift S and then Y, and just pull it out to there, and yeah, it's still a bit not straight, so let me go into edit mode, Control Alt Shift S and then Y, pull this out to there, and I'm sure that should be pretty good. Let's take the whole thing and move it in the y-axis some more to about there. And now finally, let's get over here, take the final one, press Shift and D and move it in the x-axis again, or just move it freely. Let's move it to right there. Alright, so first of all, I'm going to hide that, and let's take the whole of this, pull it in the x-axis, the whole of it, pull it in the x-axis a bit like that, and let's move it up in the z-axis, so G and then Z to about there. Okay, so let me get to the back view again, and now let's press Alt and H to bring this one back. Let's take the whole thing, press G and then X, move it back in here, and press G and then Z, move it up to there. Take this, take the whole thing, press G twice, and let's just slide it in into that mesh over there. Now I'm going to take all of this as well, press G, and let's move that all the way to somewhere there. That should be good. Alright, now let's take the whole thing, move it in the x-axis to there. We have to move it a bit on top of that, just like that. Now let's just make this the active element, and let's go over to the top view real quick. Now I'm going to press Ctrl Alt Shift S and then Y, and then share this inside like so. Now let's see what we have. Okay, not bad. So that came out really good. It's not too great, but if you want to achieve this curvature, you can do it with a lattice deform. If you know how to use that, you can use that to actually deform it to make it look much better, but I think I'm going to keep mine as it is. It's not too bad. Alright, so the final thing we have to do now is to add in one more in this area. Now that one is not too complicated, it's actually very simple. So we're just going to take this one right here, go over into edit mode, and I'm going to take this edge up here, press Ctrl and plus until we have all of this one selected. I'm going to press Shift and D and move this all the way to somewhere there, and take this, press G and then X, move this in here like so. And that's pretty much it. Now we can take the whole thing, move it in the y-axis. Okay, so the next thing we can do now is to just apply the solidify modifier. So solidify modifier, apply, and there we go. So now we can go into edit mode, and we have a few things to fix. So I'm just going to time lapse through this one. So yeah, let's do it. Alright, so once we're done, it should look like this, but I just want to do something real quick here. I just want to add in some extra vertices in the middle here. Let me take both of these and pull it in the y-axis. And pull it in y-axis like that. Let me just take all of these now. And pull it some more in the y-axis. Alright, now we can select the object and select shade smooth. And first off, let's delete the extra faces we have on top. So this face is here, delete faces. Here as well, delete faces. And delete faces. And finally here, delete faces. And there, delete faces. Alright, so now let's go ahead and adding supporting edge loops. Alright, now let's delete the extra faces we have on the back. We have some faces on the back. Let's just use the brush tool to select all of those vertices on the back. And let's just press X and then faces, and that's pretty much it. And one more thing I want us to do is to delete the extra faces we have on the right hand side here. So let me take this now, hide it. Let's take all of the faces here, delete faces. And I'm going to take all of this, hide it. Take all of the faces here, delete faces. Alright, now let's press Alt+H to bring everything back, and you can see this is what we have. It's looking really good, not bad at all. Alright, so the final thing we can do is to create all of the pieces we have on the back. So we're going to start with the ones in the middle here. So let me just go over in here, and let me take it from, let me get to the back here. I'm going to take 1 and then 2, I think 2, and then I'm not sure, maybe 3 and 4. And let's press Shift and D to duplicate this, press F to fill in the face. I want to press P to separate the selection, and now let me take this, press G twice and then C, slide it up there, press G twice and then slide it in here, maybe a bit down some more, and there we go. So that's the first one. And let's go over to the next one. I'm pretty much going to do the same thing for the rest of the two. Alright, so now that we duplicate all of them, let's take the whole thing and move it out in the y-axis to about there. So you can go ahead and leave it like this. I can provide you with a texture to give you that look we're going for, or you can go ahead and then ridge it out. So let me just fix this area real quick. So G twice and then C. Not sure I'm gonna do this, but let me just add one in here. Take this, get to the back view, extrude it up to there. Yeah. Move it in a Y. Okay, so you can also leave it like this, or just you can leave it like this and we can use a texture to create the bumps on the inside, or you can go ahead and do that physically if you want, but I'm not going to go through making that. Alright, so let's go ahead and do the same thing for this area here real quick. So let me just go over in here, take all of this, and we're going to press Shift and D, press P to separate the selection, and let's take that. We're going to extrude it down in the Z-axis all the way to there, and I think that should be pretty good. Let me just move it in the Y-axis to about some point there like that, just to give it that angle. Now let's just take this object and join it to this one with Ctrl J. Now I'm just going to select object and select shade smooth. And there we go. So I think I want to pull this piece inside a bit more. So let me take that, move it in the y-axis to the inside some more. And that should be good. Now let me just slide this out a bit. That's pretty good. Let me just slide the whole thing up a bit because it goes way too far down. So let me just slide it down a bit more. And there we go. So yeah, that's pretty good. So we're pretty much going to create the same meshes in this area, but they look a bit different from the ones below. If you take a good look, you can notice they look a bit different. Now I don't know how different, but they definitely look a bit different. So I'm just gonna time lapse through making the last. So I'm gonna take this one, Shift and D. I'm gonna do the first one with you guys, and then time lapse through the rest. So I'm gonna move this to about here, and press P to separate the selection. And now let's take that, and let me delete this vertex here, and delete the rest on the other side. And I'm gonna take this two, or this one, and move it all the way here. And I'm gonna extrude this. Let me get to the top view and see what we have. Alright, so I'm going to extrude this all the way to the inside there. Let me just see. Okay, maybe a bit more in the x-axis. Get over to the top view and just move it out, I think, to about there. Yeah, that's pretty good. And let's just take this one now. Let's just duplicate this. Press Shift and D. Move it in the y-axis to about there. Press P to separate the selection. And I'm going to take that one and take this one right here. And let's just press Ctrl J to join it. Let's go over into wireframe. Let me just move this in the y-axis. Go over to the top view so we can align it better. So just align it with it like that. And I can take this one now and merge it to this last one right here. This and then that. Merge at last. And there we go. Alright, so let me just get over here and alright, let me take the whole thing and just get over to this area. Take the whole thing from there to here. And let me just press S and then Y and scale this. Or we could just we just move this back in here like that, and that's pretty good, I guess. So let me just pull it up a bit, take this and then take that, merge it at last, and we can just add in a vertex in here. Press Shift Y, slide it here, and delete the edge between those two, just so this is its own object, as you can see. Alright, so now we have all of this as the first one, and let me just dissolve these two vertices here. Move this inside here and move it down there, and there we go. Alright, so I want to dissolve these two vertices. It's not going to cause any issues. Alright, and let me just take this, slide it up to there. Let me take 1, 2, 3, 4, press F. Take these two and press F. Let me add one in the middle here. And let's take these two, press F twice. And there we go. So you can see that does it for the first one, and this is basically just a glass cover. It's not the actual interior, so it's a glass cover. So we're just gonna keep that there, and let's take the whole thing. Just take the whole thing, extrude it. It looks a bit weird. So what I'm gonna do is let me take this and then this. Press S and then Y, type in 0. Okay, that definitely. Let me see, S and then Y, type in 0. Okay, let's do that real quick. So take these two, S and then Y, type in 0. I'm going to do the same thing with this, Shift and then R, Shift and then R, all the way to the bottom. Alright, so that's very nice. Now we can take, or we can just keep it there. Let's move it in Y-axis just a bit, like that. And that's pretty good. Alright, not bad. So we can take the whole thing now and extrude it in the Y-axis, just a bit like so, just like that. And that's pretty much it. Alright, I'm going to select Object and select Shade Smooth, and I'm going to go over into the Vertex tab here and enable Auto Smooth. And let's set this up to something like 80. Or let's drop it down to 70. Let's go down to 60 just to be safe. And there we go. So let me take the whole thing, press Shift and N to recalculate the normals. And there we go. So that's pretty much what I'm going to do for the rest of the others over here. Alright, so once we're done, this is what we're gonna have, and you can see that's looking really good. So we're gonna hide that now, and what we can do finally is to create whatever we have on the back. So for this, how we're gonna do this is I'm just gonna take all of these. So let me just take it from here. Let me see, yeah, all of that, and I'm gonna take all these vertices here. Now I'm not sure how that is gonna help, but let's take all of those vertices, press P to separate the selection, and let's take this, the new selection we've created, and I'm going to delete all the vertices down here. So I'm just going to delete that, and I'm going to delete this one here, delete all of these, delete this, and let me see what we can do here. Let me just take these two and delete the vertices. So I think we can press F here, and let's press I to insert. Now first off, let me take the whole thing and extrude it back to there. Now let's take the whole thing, press F again, and let's just press I to insert it again. Press Ctrl B to add in the boundary, and then insert this all the way to about there. I think that should be good. Yeah, that should be pretty good, I think. Alright, I'm gonna delete the faces. I don't think I want it going all the way back here though. So let me just let me see. Okay, let me delete all of these vertices, and delete that as well. And let me take this, get to the back view real quick, and let me just extrude it down to there. Let me get to the side view, move it in the y-axis to there, and I think that should be pretty good. Alright, now let me just get on over here. Let me delete this whole thing, take the whole thing again, extrude it in the y-axis, and let's take that whole thing, press F. Let me get to the back view, and we're going to insert again, insert it all the way to there, and that should be pretty good. So I'm just going to press X and delete the faces, and we can delete the extra vertex we have on the back, and I can just knife this from here all the way to there, and let me just merge this at last and delete the extra vertices we have below. And that's pretty much going to serve as the back, as the chrome on the other side, like that, as you can see. So of course that one too, we're going to be using a texture. So let me just take that, select object, and select shade smooth. And that's pretty much it. So that's just going to be the chrome on the back. So one final thing we're going to do, because I'm going to leave the headlight up to you guys to do on your own. So the glass in front here, I'm just going to leave that up to you guys to do on your own. So the final thing we're going to do before we actually call this done is to get over to the back view, and let's take this piece over here. I can select it, well, yeah, this piece here, and I want to take this whole edge here, press Shift and D to duplicate, press P to separate the selection, and now let's take that, press G and then Y, and move this back to, I don't know how far back, but I think, yeah, that should be pretty good. And let me just go over in here, let me delete this vertex, and let me get here, delete that vertex, delete everything else we have over here, get onto the back view. Let me take this, slide it up to there, just slide it up some more to there. Now what we can do now is let's take this vertex here, let me just press G twice and then slide it up to there, and let me extrude it down in the z-axis to here. Let me just zoom into this area so I can see this much better, and I'm going to move it in the y-axis. Let me get to the side view so I can see this much better. Alright, so I want to move it to about there. I think that's pretty good. I think we have to move this further inside, so I'm going to move it in the y-axis some more, just so we can move it further inside. And I'm going to pull this in the x-axis to there, and let me take this, slide it back in place right there. That's pretty good. So I'm going to take this to and press F now. Alright, that's good. Control and R3 here, slide that up a bit, and I'm going to take these four, press F, and this area as well. Let me add one in here, take these two, press F twice, and there we go. So let me just take this whole piece, move it in y-axis a bit more. Let me just take this, press G twice, slide it down into the ground like so. Alright, not bad. So let me just take the whole thing, get to the back view, and we're going to insert, Control B to remove the boundary, insert just a little bit like that. Alright, so we have to move the whole thing. Those down here, we have to move them up a bit. So we're going to move it in the z-axis, take this, press G twice, slide those up to there. And I think those up here too. We have to move them down. Or we could pretty much just keep them there. No harm done. Let me take this, delete all of that. I'm gonna take this, slide it in there, and there we go. Alright, so I think this is much thicker, so let me just delete all of those vertices and try that again. So let me get to the back view, insert, and we're gonna make it much thicker to something like that, and delete the faces. Now let's take the whole thing, extrude it in the y-axis to the back, like so. Delete the faces on the back, take the whole thing, press Shift and N to recalculate the normals. Let's select Object and select Shade Smooth. Now let's add in supporting edge loops. Alright, now what I'm going to do here is to bevel this. So I'm just going to bevel this, just add in just 3 edges. And I'm going to add some in here, just 3. And maybe one more up here. Like so. And there we go. Alright, very nice. So one final thing we can do now is to just take all of that, press Shift and D, move it in the y-axis all the way to here. And press F to fill in the faces, press Shift and N to recalculate the normals. I think it's facing the other side. Let's make sure of that. Yes, it is. Control Shift N, then yeah, there we go. Alright, very nice. So that'll do it for that area now. All that we have left is the main headlight. So I'm not going to do this in this video, but I might time lapse it in the next video. But I just want to simplify or show you guys what you have to do. So you're going to create the main glass, which covers the whole thing, and then after that you're going to make a cutout here. Okay, so just make sure there's a vertex surrounding this area right here, the black area here. We're going to make that area plain glass instead of red glass, just so we can see through it into this area right here. I hope that makes sense. And yeah, that pretty much means I'm going to end this video here. And as you can see, the tail light came out really good. It's looking really great. So I'm going to end it here, and I will see you guys in the next video.